Ready?
Set. Bacon.
Okay, so today my husband Jordan and I are going to do a little Q&A with some questions that I made up myself or questions that people have asked me throughout the time I've been on YouTube. So let's go over question number 1. You ready?
Oh yeah, I got my emotional support dogs. So.
Okay. All right, so the first one is, what inspired you to adopt a minimalist lifestyle as a family?
Well, I can't say that I would have adopted it without a little bit of help. I don't know if strict people would necessarily call me a minimalist, but seeing it impact our lifestyle as a family has been rewarding.
You always had less things than I did.
Yeah, I typically have favored a more modern, clean style, though I can certainly
Except
be messy.
for your woodworking stuff.
I can still be messy.
That you definitely have a lot more than me. But
yeah.
I probably was the problem and the solution.
Well, I think we've talked about it before. You used to have this shabby chic style where we had knickknacks everywhere, and it was nice, but that was never really
your style.
Mine.
Yeah.
So to see us kind of come full circle and you have the same kind of style has been nice.
Yeah. All right. So number 2, how has minimalism influenced your daily routines?
I think the key is simplifying things. You know, you take our dishwasher, for example, it would have been I would have pictured it being really inconvenient when the latch broke on it, which meant it no longer will turn on. And it's been something that's been at the bottom of our list to fix simply because
it hasn't really been a big deal.
I don't mind doing the dishes that much.
Yeah. And I think it just like somebody had put a comment on like, you need to get a dishwasher. And I think it's one of those things that we have so few dishes now that it doesn't really matter to me. It's easy to clean them. And so you don't have to wait for the dishes to be clean. You can just do it right then, and then you can have all the dishes you want. But also, it kind of is a time for me to like clear my mind from, like, I don't think about anything when I'm doing dishes. And so it's kind of like a peaceful time for me.
Yeah.
And definitely just, I feel like our routines, like cleaning routines, are just easier because there's less things to clean. The house is still the same size. None of that stuff has changed, but it's just like less things to maintain.
Yeah.
So it just makes routines of cleaning, routines of putting things away, getting dressed in the morning. It's just like less of a hassle of stuff.
Well, even like we have the robot vacuum.
Yeah.
Looking at how little stuff we have touching the floor in our house, I don't know how it works in houses that are busier.
Yeah. We had a Roomba before.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really like it because our couch was much lower down. And so it never cleaned under the couch. So I found that kind of annoying.
Yeah.
All right. So number 3 is, what is some of the biggest benefits you've experienced from living a minimalist lifestyle as a family?
I mean, it's simplified our finances quite a bit.
Yeah. I think it's allowed me to be in charge of the finances where I never really felt comfortable before, but it's like I allowed more space for things like that in my life. And now, like, I pay most of the bills.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of all the finances now.
There's been a pretty
which I never was before.
Radical change over the last 2 years or so, I'd say, where I check on things and I know the information, but seeing you kind of take over and take interest in it has been
Well, and I think also, like, even though I quit my job and I'm just like working on YouTube and subbing and doing some small things on the side, I feel like we've still gone to Italy. Like, we still travel.
Yeah.
And so minimalism has really allowed us to, like, even radically changing lifestyle, maintain things that we really enjoy. Like traveling is one of the big things that we really enjoy. And so it's like you give up the things that weren't necessarily that important, but you thought they were, and you still get to keep all the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have always been a financial skeptic when it comes to thinking that we could go and survive on one income, or, you know, even before we had children, it's always like, well, do we have our finances straight to be able to support?
And it was so hard because it was so wildly different every month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. All right. So number 4, can you share any challenges or obstacles you face when transitioning to minimalism as a family?
I mean, I think the initial transition, anybody's going to go through, I would call it like yo-yoing, where you purge and then you realize you need some things, so you rebuy. And then sometimes you rebuy things that you didn't really need again, but you rebuy them anyways, just out of habit. And so that process can be frustrating.
Yeah. Like that beginning process was really, and I feel like you weren't on the bandwagon. And so it was me doing everything. And I didn't know everything. So I was yo-yoing, like you said, like trying to figure out what I really enjoyed having. I mean, I totally watched all that Marie Kondo stuff and read her book and watched that minimalist Netflix special. And it's what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a clear roadmap, and I don't think anyone can make a clear roadmap for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the yo-yoing was probably hard. And it was really hard to know what I wanted. It took me a while to create like a clear picture of what I wanted each room to be like, and to get you on the bandwagon of, yes, this is okay. We can get rid of these furniture pieces. I think the furniture pieces was probably the hardest part. Mm-hmm. Because I know, like they cost money and, it's hard to get rid of them. You have to find someone to come to your house and get rid of them. But I think when we finally got on the same page about what we wanted the rooms to kind of look like and feel like, you want to get his foot out of your pocket, then it became a lot easier.
Yeah.
All right. So next one, how do you involve your children in minimalist lifestyle, and what lessons do you hope they're going to learn?
Ooh.
I think my biggest one is I want her to be better with money. Mm-hmm. I think minimalism has taught me, I want to be a woman that's in charge of the finances. So I know what's going on, and I understand how to spread my money out and make sure everything is covered. I want her to feel very empowered with her money. I think that's the big thing I've learned from minimalism. What do you think?
I think teaching her to value what she has has been a big one, because, we go through.
Which is still a lesson she's learning.
Oh, and it's a lesson we're still learning, I think. Yeah. But, seeing her really yearn for certain toys or certain this or that, and then a week or two later, even a number of her Christmas gifts that she was pumped about, you realize what she hasn't touched after that.
So definitely a lesson I want to teach Carrie Ann is to value her stuff, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. So money, being in charge of your money, how to manage your money, is something I never learned as a child. And valuing the things that you have, figuring out what are the things that you really enjoy and love.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks, Care Bear. All right, so the next one is, what strategies do we use in order to maintain a clutter-free home? Which I don't think anyone is ever going to have a clutter-free home who lives with other people, because people bring things in, and you bring things in. I mean, I bring things in. So I don't think it's ever going to be clutter-free forever. But I do think that it helps that we have homes for things, and that we're getting better at figuring out where they are, and, putting a little sticker with the name on it. I think that helps us. Mm-hmm. And then I think just having some basic routines of cleaning, which we don't even have a schedule, but we have basic things, like do the dishes every night is something that we try to maintain.
Yeah, we got the incentive of keeping that sink clean.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think there are definitely things that help us stay clutter-free. What do you think?
No, I would agree. And I think, like you said, having those routines is kind of a regular opportunity to make sure that things are as we want them to be.
Yeah.
Even the reminder to make sure that the desk, because I think my desk downstairs is probably the most prone to cluttering appliance, because it's a flat surface. And what do you put on things? You stick stuff there.
He's been watching some of my videos, apparently. All right. Yes, you are right, for sure. Okay, so let's go through this, because I know we're going to be interrupted soon, probably. Okay, so how does minimalism impact your approach to consumption, both in terms of physical belongings and experiences?
One thing that I've always agreed with in minimalism is that it generally does help to reduce your footprint. Yeah. One thing that is I've reflected on as we've gone further into this is there are some things where I'm like, ooh, as much as even thinking about our hand washing of the dishes, is that reducing our footprint versus having a dishwasher? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not very good at turning off the water. And it's just, it causes me to be mindful of the process I'm using to do that. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Well, I think it's helped with, like when it comes to like makeup and hair products and shampoo, things like that. Like I don't buy shampoo in a bottle anymore. I buy the little bar and using it all up. I think the using it all up strategy has really helped. I don't go buy something else until the other one is almost gone. And I think that kind of helps with our consumption, like being more mindful of, I don't want to have to store these things if I'm not going to use them on a daily basis, kind of thing. All right, so we're almost done. We're getting there. Let's see. How do you handle gifts and possessions from extended family and friends who may not share your minimalist value? I think this is one of the hardest ones because I feel like we kind of vary.
Well, what
do you think?
I think it's easier for you or I because generally the things we want follow that kind of experience or choice route as far as gifts go. Like when people ask for a gift
for us.
Yeah, when people ask what we want, it's usually a pretty short list of items that are on there. Now, is that question meant to say like how do we, when it comes time to buy for others?
If people buy us things.
Oh.
Or buy Carrie-Ann things, like what do we do with that? I think I'm kind of of the philosophy where I used to be somebody who loved to give gifts, and that was my love language. And so that has, I know, sweet girl. So that has definitely changed over time because that my mindset has changed. But I remember when that was my joy. And I wouldn't want to take away somebody's joy of giving me things. Now, if it just becomes like, I don't think we have anyone in our family that's like that, but if it became like where it was excessive all of the time and it just became too much, I think it would be something that I would have an honest conversation about. I'm so grateful for the things that we do end up getting like from our parents. And so I don't know. I don't mind people giving me things when I know it's coming from this is my love to you. This is how I'm showing my love. And I also feel like I don't need to keep them. Like somebody gives me a gift or gives, us a gift in general. I don't feel the need like that I have to keep it forever. Because sometimes, if they'll say, if maybe they want it back, I'm totally cool with that. Or, I don't mind spreading that joy someone gave me to other people and regifting or donating, things like that.
Yeah.
I feel like once it's in my possession, that's my decision to find the best home.
And I think that one's tricky, family over family, and kind of what the norms are. And I think it varies by like what the gift was. If it's something somebody picked up from Target, there's not a whole lot of pressure there. If it's served its purpose and you're ready to pass it on so somebody else can use it, versus if somebody has handmade something for you or,
it's like a sentimental item
for
them. But I think the hard thing about that is that what we don't realize as a society and as a community is a lot of times people hold really sentimental values on things that the next person they give it to don't have that connection. They didn't know that person or they didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you're pushing your own sentimental value onto somebody else who might not be prepared for that.
I think
that's difficult.
Well, I think that's where just communicating well with each other matters, Or
like being like, I don't really have the ability to use this. Do you want to keep it or do you want me to pass it on? Or should we find someone who really wants to enjoy this item more than I can?
Yeah.
And I do feel like that can come off kind of cold sometimes, but I think if you're coming from a loving area, usually people respond well.
As long as people understand the purpose behind it. It's not that you don't appreciate what's given.
Right.
It's just recognizing that it's almost like its purpose has been served for me.
Yeah. All right, guys, last question. So, can you share any tips or advice for other families who are interested in adopting a minimalist lifestyle?
Don't. Just kidding.
I think communication is good.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we lacked in the beginning because I was like 100% and you didn't really know what you wanted. And so that was hard.
Yeah, it's like,
that was difficult at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I did yo-yo. Like, it was hard. Like, I didn't know what I wanted and really didn't want. So it was very difficult in the beginning. But I think through some really good conversations we had, we finally got to like an understanding.
Yeah. Understand what that's where that communication piece comes back to. Understanding the purpose behind it and the mission with it mattered and helped ease the process.
Like, we always talk about, like, on this channel, I'll talk about like what's my why? Why do I want to live this lifestyle? Why is this important to me? And, you know, why am I veering off from what stereotypically our society tells us to overconsume and buy everything possible and store? Why am I doing the opposite? But I feel like you didn't understand that at the time. And I wasn't doing a great job of being super clear because I didn't completely understand my why at the beginning anyway.
Sure.
But I think over time, I figured out a more clear picture of why I'm doing these things. And so that helped you.
Yeah. We almost need to figure out, or a strategy to consider is figuring out what your replacement behavior is. Because for you were a shopper. Mm-hmm. You still enjoy like going out and shopping, the act of going into the stores and whatnot. But for a lot of time, that was your leisure activity. And we always differed in that regard. Yeah. I will linger and think about something I want for 9 months and then think about it a little longer and then eventually
so you
just show
already
up.
have like a minimalist mindset.
I'm on the wrong end of it though, because
compulsive buying too much. But I think I
overthought.
Yeah, like you said, I still like window shopping.
Yeah.
I just feel like I used to always think window shopping was like sad. Like I felt so disappointed in myself if I didn't find something to buy. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, oh wow, I can walk out of any store and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll have like a little list, like I'm looking for a shower curtain for downstairs because we don't have one right now. But I like went into Target and I didn't find any I liked.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy anything else. So
I think it comes back to that, what is your replacement piece? Like when you're considering whether or not you want to buy something or whether or not want to spend that money, asking yourself, what would I rather spend this money on? And for us, that answer is typically experiences and particularly travel. And so when I sit here and go, do I really want the frame TV from Amazon? I do. I really think that's cool and it looks minimalist and then fits in with the style. But do I need a $1,000 plus TV? No, I'd much rather have a plane ticket to London and get to experience that.
So figuring out what your why is, like what, and finding a replacement for the things that you're willing to give up. Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's good advice. All right, guys, if you enjoy learning about minimalism and decluttering and living your best life, then remember to hit that subscribe button and throw a like down there if you've enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you again soon.